While you may find tourists in your hometown insensitive or annoying, you will probably be a tourist at some point in your life. If you don't want to cause the same disruption you feel other tourists create, this video will educate you on tips and tricks to use when traveling to the Middle East regarding food and dining etiquette. Oftentimes, tourists visiting the Middle East cause unintended harm and disrespect that stems from their lack of knowledge about proper etiquette regarding food and beverages. There are specific rules and regulations that need to be followed, but they're not well known or widely explained to the over 110 million travelers that come to the area each year. To avoid these blunders, you should educate yourself prior to the trip using resources like this video, which will give you a brief outline of important information. First, it is important to note that the population of the Middle East North Africa region is about 93% Muslim, and mosques are central and sacred part of the Islamic worship. Accordingly, if you visit a mosque on your trip, adhere to all of its posted guidelines. The cleanliness of the space is paramount, so eating and drinking should never take place within a mosque. Secondly, although most Muslims do not drink alcohol, it is still offered in restaurants and bars. However, it is improper to bring alcohol to place where it is not actively sold, and being intoxicated in public is socially unacceptable. Thirdly, there are common dietary restrictions, both general and holiday related, that you should be aware of and prepare for when visiting the Middle East. As previously mentioned, the majority of the population is Muslim and adheres to Islamic guidelines regarding food intake. The term halal is used to describe foods that are acceptable. Foods that are not considered halal include pork and pork byproducts, carnivorous animals, birds of prey, and animals without external ears. Ramadan, a holiday lasting the entire 9th month of the Islamic calendar, also affects the diets of those who celebrate it. Muslims eat one meal before dawn and one meal after sunset, and abstain from food and water from the rest of the day. While you don't need to participate, you should be aware of and respect the tradition that surrounds this holiday, which emphasizes spiritual peace and increased worship. Lastly, a summary of general dining and restaurant etiquette will ensure you convey respect and satisfaction to your host while visiting the Middle East. In conversation with a Lebanese and Tunisian alumnus from the George Washington University, who now owns a Middle Eastern restaurant in downtown DC, he emphasized that
one of the major etiquette differences between American restaurants and Middle Eastern restaurants is mostly the way of eating. Some people, American restaurants, you'll see people eating with a fork and knife, while the Middle Eastern, they're really the way they eat back home, and like they do it in their culture and everything, it's with the hands. I mean, for sure you gotta clean up your hands, but eating with the hands provides so many, it's a new experience in eating. One more etiquette will be back home, some people will eat on the floor instead of tables. It's like a nice gathering, so when people can join as a family, friends, sit down, put like a big plate when everybody can share, and a lot of good things come out of this way of eating, you know, like getting people close to each other, being close, you know, just this is the way we do it, you know. It's like an experience eating. It's not just supposed to eat yourself. You're supposed to eat with people, and you're supposed to share that experience with the people around you and the people who are like enjoy food with you, you know.
Mr. Mansour goes on to explain how eating with your hands ensures that you don't get a metal aftertaste, while also enabling people to connect with their food in its entirety of spices. Additionally, it is important to note that when dining with friends and family, the left hand should be used sparingly when eating or passing food. This hand is connected to bathing and using the restroom and is considered dirty. Additionally, refrain from reaching across the table, which is considered impolite. When finishing the meal, ensure some food remains because an empty plate represents a famine or scarcity. Although it may be frowned upon in other places, toothpicks are often provided to encourage the picking of teeth at the table. However, blowing noses should not be done at the table, and you should leave the dining area to do so. Finally, be sure to stay and accept a cup of coffee offered at the end of the meal. These are all important factors of drinking and eating that you should be aware of when traveling to the Middle East. If every rule is followed, both you and the locals would have a better experience. This simple educational video teaches you to respect and appreciate your surroundings when visiting a new destination and lessens the burden you pose to the people who call that place home.